Okay, this is my proper playthrough of the first Dizzy game, the Ultimate Cartoon Adventure. This game was, like I say, the very first Dizzy game made in 1987, and it spawned a lot more Dizzy games, over 10 at least that were official, and then a host of fan games made on the internet as well. Anyway, I'm not sure how well my voice is going to be carrying over this title screen music, and I can't press tab to change the volume or anything, so I'll just start the game and press enter. Okay, so this is like a platform puzzle type of game, where you've got to use items like that burning torch I just picked up, and you've got to solve puzzles that you find, and the puzzles can be pretty much anything, like any item and whatnot. Like with this burning torch, for instance, I've got to light the flames underneath this cauldron. Funnily enough, though, I can still jump on top of it because of how I need to jump on top of it to use it as a platform to get to other places now. And now I've got a mucky grease gun, which I need to use in here to move this mining cart out of the way from that passageway there. But I don't think I need to go in there yet. I mean, I haven't played this for a handful of years or so, and it was only a handful of years ago when I actually managed to complete it. But first, this free acme bird seed here can be used to kill birds which would normally be harmful to you, like I'm about to do now, when I can reach it anyway. Yeah, oh, that didn't work. Yeah, it was out of my reach as I jumped down, so we'll see if I can get it. Oh, it went out of my reach again. See, it's a clever one, this bird, isn't it? Yeah. There we go that time. So, I'll take this with me just for now, in case we come across more birds, but, yeah, we need to avoid those apples and that rain as well from that cloud, because all these things are harmful to Dizzy, with him being a very kind of a frail and susceptible to harm type of person that he is, yeah. And yeah, because there's birds, well, bats in that cave, and this is just a bird seeds type of poison bird seed type thing. It won't work on the bats that we find in here, so it's pointless taking it here into these mines, but I'll take this key because the key is useful later on, so long as you can avoid that spider there. But I'll drop the key here for now, and we'll go to this cave, which can be hard with that bat there, so I'll leave that life there that you saw in there just before. I'll also put the code down, and I think there's a spider in here, so in there, and because it's like a cramped little passageway, I obviously can't get past the spider yet. But the coat at the moment is useful because it will help me get past the cloud that's above there. That's yeah, on that screen to the left of where we are right now. And strangely enough, as you'll see, the plastic coat, when it comes into contact with the raindrops, will destroy the raindrops forever, meaning they'll never come again, and that means we never need the coat again. Well, I think we actually do need the coat again, because there might be droplets of water again, from what I remember in other places in the game. So we're about to go into an icy kind of place right now. And I remember there being either birds or bats here as well, so I'm gonna go and get the Acme bird seed type thing again, just in case they're birds and they're killable, so that I can get to those places without risking being killed by them and all. Got to love the sound of Dizzy's footfalls as he walks around, haven't you? I mean, that's one of the plus points really of having no music, that you can hear his footfalls as he walks around. I'm not sure whether this is supposed to be the Spectrum version or the Amstrad version of this game, but yeah, but if I had to guess, I'd say the Spectrum version, given the lack of music and the cute squeaky sound when you put items down and pick them up like that. But considering there's no colour clashes in this game and Dizzy doesn't turn into the colour of the items of the things that are behind him when he walks over them, well, that leads me to believe that it isn't wholly influenced by the Spectrum version after all. And I think up here there might be water, rushing water which needs to be frozen, hence why I'm bringing the bottle of dry ice up here now. I think you can drop things. No, you can't drop things when you're in midair. So, I can't remember how I'm going to do this, to be honest. And you can't drop items while you're on the lift either. So I'll try dropping it off this ledge, but no, it doesn't work. I'm thinking maybe I can drop it in midair while then. No, or maybe I go down to where that crowbar is and drop it there, maybe. Yeah, as you can see, it's been a while since I played this game. I can't remember what's up here. Yeah, that kind of makes me anxious a bit, that eye up there with how you know, one eye is a bad thing and all. I'll just go down there and collect a crowbar, and we'll see about me going down there and dropping the dry ice down there to freeze the water. Yeah, I'm really trying to decide whether I should go through with this playthrough after all now, after seeing that eye. I'd forgotten about that, you see, and I can't remember how I got. Oh yeah, I used the lift to get down there. Well, the bottle of dry ice doesn't get used there either. And yeah, I honestly remember working on that water down there. Although, when you think about it, really, you don't really need to use the dry ice on that water down there, do you? After all, you can do everything that needs to be done on this screen without using it. So, yeah, I think we'll leave this place and go back down the hill. Yeah, when my window glitched out just then, and and it went back to the other screen that I had on just then. I thought the recording had stopped, which is why I was confused for a second, and I was about to berate my bad luck and how often my computer my laptop and my internet connection seems to be working against me at times. But yeah, it seems like fortune is smiling. It seems like Lady Luck is smiling upon me, at least for the time being. Hopefully I'm speaking clearly enough as well, because when I did a test playing this before, my voice wasn't carrying above the game sound, but hopefully that'll be, well, it wasn't carrying above the game music I meant, but hopefully it will be doing this time, even though there isn't music playing during the game. And just talking about the music that was playing on the title screen before. Yeah, it's the water down there that I've got to freeze, isn't it? So for now I'll leave the raincoat here and take a clove of garlic. Yeah, because the clove of garlic is obviously needed to deal with the vampire bats, like that one down there, isn't there? Yeah. So I'll take this and go and deal with those bats, and then we'll see what else I need to do. Yeah. Gotta love the eerie looking moon above in the sky, just there, haven't you? Yeah. So now to kill our first two bats, like so, and we'll go and see what that is there. And because Dizzy is incredibly fragile, you can't actually walk on those bones and skeletal remains down there. Part of me thinks it's probably because of the sharp edges or something from old bones, which would probably dig into and puncture the soft skin of our youthful hero, Dizzy here. Anyway, we've got a ghost hunter's laser, which I think comes in handy for the ghost here. I can't remember. Yeah, I think what you do is touch the ghost. But I don't think we have a reason to touch the ghost yet, since the elevator isn't working. And the last thing I'd want to do is get stuck down there, because that'd mean the game playthrough's over, wouldn't it? Unless, of course, the way to switch the elevator back on is down there or something, because I can't remember it being switched on anywhere else. But yeah, say goodbye to another bat, and now we'll get this extra life here. It's funny because there's some people I've seen on the Dizzy website, yolkfolk.com, some people I've seen who have made tons of Dizzy games. Well, there's one person in total. Well, one person really, and I mean one person I'm talking about here, and he said that this game is the hardest, that he found this particular Dizzy game, the hardest of all of the Dizzy games he's played, and it's because of all the uneven surfaces, like the sharp, pokey bits of ground and whatnot, making it so that it's very hard to jump from one area to another. And he thought that's one of the reasons why this particular Dizzy game is the hardest one. And to be honest, I don't really agree, because In recent years, I've completed near enough all of the original Dizzy games, and yet there's one wonder I never, and I did manage to complete them mostly without referring to guides or anything, because nowadays with me having OCD a bit, I generally don't want to look up guides and cheats in order to complete games, because then I'd feel like a cheat and a fraud myself. And so I play and try to complete them fairly, and I've managed to do that with most of these Dizzy games, but there's one in particular that I haven't been able to complete, and that's a really long one, and I always found this incredibly hard when I was young as well, and it's called Spellbound Dizzy. And yeah, that one's so hard in general that even taking big falls will take energy off Dizzy. And as you've seen from me playing this game, I've taken maybe some pretty big falls, and they haven't hurt me in the slightest, which is a good thing, really, considering in this particular Dizzy game I don't have an energy bar. And so a fall that doled out damage to me would probably be fatal. And this is quite an infamous screen here, because you've got to jump as you're walking over the clouds at a certain point, otherwise the clouds will kind of disappear or collapse and you'll fall down, and the only way to get out is by killing yourself by touching that big skeleton at the bottom, which I always thought was quite scary as a child. And in the Amstrad, and maybe Spectrum version 2, if you fouled up when crossing this cloud bridge and made the clouds disappear, they wouldn't come back. Once you'd lost your life, they'd be gone permanently, making it impossible to complete the game on that particular playthrough. Fortunately, that problem has been addressed in this fan-made copy of the original Dizzy game, Dizzy the Ultimate Cartoon Adventure, but I won't show you the clouds disappearing if I make a mistake. I'm just going to do it the right way. And if any of you wonderful viewers watching this at home feel the need to play this game yourselves, you'll be able to see what happens yourself by fouling or crossing this, but I'm going to do it right. Yes, that's the way to do it. I can't remember what this empty bottle's for, so I'm going to leave it for now. And I'll cross these logs, which can be a bit taxing if you don't know how. Like, I've heard people try jumping across when just walking across this will suffice, really, when you think about it, given the short distance and all. But yeah, I remember this part of the game being quite hard in the past, and so I'm kind of reluctant to come here. But now I remember, I think that there's birds here. Or they might be vampire bats. Yeah, the birds. So I'd best go and get the bird seed. So we make the tricky journey again across the water and across the clouds. I used to always dread coming to this part of the game when I used to play it as a child on the Amstrad, especially this cloud part here, because I always knew that if I failed it, then the game would basically be over, no matter how many lives I had. And luckily, I don't need to jump back over that piece of rock once the apples dropped, because I played a version of this before making this playthrough when I was deciding how I was going to play this game on camera, and that piece of rock before couldn't be walked over. I had to jump over it, but the problem was that jumping could cause me to jump straight into the apple coming down from the tree, since sometimes the apples respawn very fast after they've fallen to the ground. And with Dizzy being a very fragile hero, that means apples falling on top of his head can be rather fatal, even though to regular people like you and me, we just have a sore head afterwards. So we'll see if I can remember where the bird seed is now. Funny when you think how I've probably wasted a load of time in this first part of this playthrough just yammering on about things that have probably been boring all of you watchers at home. Especially when I was standing at that cloud bridge before, rambling on, when I could have been progressing, and I probably lost a good amount of time there. And it's important to wait until the spider is about halfway up before coming down here, because I think the spider always stays in the position that it was in when you go off the screen. So if it's almost come down by the time you go off the screen, it means that when you come up out of that place, you will quite possibly end up jumping right into the spider and lose a life. In fact, it seems familiar. It might even be possible to get stuck down there and end up losing all your lives if the spider's in the wrong place. If the spider's in the wrong place when you've gone off the screen. Yeah. Anyway, we've got the bird seed, so now we can take it to that place on the right side of the map and kill the birds that we need to kill. Fortunately, you can touch the webs of the spiders, but not the spiders themselves. After all, the game would be a bit hard if you couldn't touch the webs, wasn't it? I actually find the sound of Dizzy's footsteps quite therapeutic to listen to at the times when I'm not talking in this video. I'd forgot about killing this bird with the bird seed. I'd just been avoiding it all the time, thinking that because I've avoided it at times in the past, that it was necessary to avoid it all the time. Like how in some of the later Dizzy games, there's particular hostile sprites which you've got to avoid as you keep going back and forth in the game. Funny how the birds don't want any part of me once I've got the bird seed, isn't it? Those platforms might be a bit hard to find for people who are used to more graphically advanced games, which make things more obvious to the players, but when you're an old school gamer who had to kind of really study and scrutinize screens, like me back in the day, well, it makes you play games a whole lot differently. That's why when I play big open world games like Fallout New Vegas, I start feeling all paranoid and anxious, feeling like I have to search every nook and every cranny and every part of every floor when I'm looking for hidden items and secrets and things that I need to get achievements sometimes. Anyway, as the words say above the ground sounds hollow here, and as luck would have it, I've got a spade with which I can dig deep into the ground and go underground once more. But I think I remembered that it's here where I need, well, it's underground, in that place where I just was, that I need the liquid to freeze the water, I think. So we'll go and do that now. One thing I do miss though about playing this game, this mod, which seems influenced by the Spectrum version rather than the Amstrad version, is that the Amstrad version had a catchy tune that used to play constantly over the action when you played this game, whereas this is, with it being based on the Spectrum version, just seems silent most of the time, aside from sounds like Dizzy's footsteps and picking items up and whatnot, and also the sounds of Dizzy dying and screaming in agony, or the sounds of killing various creatures and insects and other critters and whatnot. And yeah, with me being used to the Amstrad version as a kid and the music of the Amstrad version and all, well, I kind of miss it, to be honest. Anyway, off we go to that underground place to freeze the water down there. And as you can see, these games are quite adventurous, aren't they? With all the underground places and all the places to be explored above ground as well. Seems familiar that this one doesn't work, but it does seem to work here. Unless that was another Dizzy game that I played in the past. I can't remember if I can get through there either. Or unless I need to freeze that water. Or unless there's a body of water over here that needs freezing. That red drop there is obviously going to be fatal. Especially since there's only one of it, and because it looks so menacingly red, as you just saw. I don't think that water will need to be frozen. Because it looks possible to jump over it. Well, yeah, I'll try, I remember now that it is possible to be trapped in this place. Can I drop this here? No. Oh, I forgot that you've got to charge that trampoline type mushroom type thing up, I think, before you can make the jump. Oh. If I can't get out of this place now. Oh yeah, that's how you're supposed to use the ice. the time seems to be coming to a close now, I think. So I'll stop the video here, and whether or not we'll see a part 2, I don't know. After all, that eye thing above goes on an idol, I think, later on in the game. And with me being a Christian and all, things like idols and whatnot and single eyes make me anxious. But I guess we'll see what happens, won't we? So goodbye everyone.